Welcome to the third practical of assembly modeling. Here we have to create the fixture assembly using Creo. So let us begin. So this is the assembled drawing of the fixture assembly, and these are the parts of the fixture assembly. We have end plate, we have disc, spacers, nut, support pin, center pin, and bolt. So we'll start by creating the end plate first. So these are the dimensions of the end plate. So I've created a file named end plate, and we are going to create it using extrude. So define the top plane. These are the dimensions. This is 4, this is 4, and the thickness is 0.5. So we have to use the symmetry. Let us draw two center lines, and let us draw a symmetric rectangle. This is 4 and this is 4. We have 4 holes of diameter 0.26. So I'll draw a hole of diameter 0.26. This distance is 0.5 and 0.5. We want 4 holes. We will create them using mirror tool. Then the thickness is 0.5. Say done. We also want a hole in the center of diameter 1. So we can edit it by editing the geometry again. Now let us draw a circle of diameter 1 here and say done. So it is reflected, or the modification is now reflected in our part model. We also want these 4 holes. To create these 4 holes, we can use the extrude tool or we can use the hole tool. So the distance or the diameter of these holes is 0.9 and they are placed on a circle of diameter 1.625. So to draw this, let us use the extrude tool again. Go to placement and define this surface. I will create one hole of diameter 0.19 at this place. This is 0.19 and it is located on the hole or on the circle or an imaginary circle of diameter 1.625 or radius 1.625 divided by 2, that is 0.813. So we have created one circle. If we extrude it, we'll get a cylinder. Let us flip the direction, and since it's a through hole, we want the hole up till this surface and we want to remove the material. Say done. So we have created one hole here, and just like this one hole, we need 3 more holes. They are placed at an angle 90 degree with each other. So to create that, we can use the axis pattern. So until now we have seen the direction pattern. Let us see how to use the axis pattern. So we have selected the hole. Then select this axis and select how many instances we want to create. So we want 4 instances at angle 90 degree. Say done. So we have created these 4 holes by using the axis pattern. Let us use some color and save the file. The next part is this disc. To create this disc, you can see outer diameter is 2, inner diameter is 1. So this is a hollow cylindrical disc. The thickness is 0.125. So create a part for this disc. Again select the top plane, say sketch. Outer diameter is 2, inner diameter is 1, and thickness is 0.125. So this has to be 2. Then this is 1, and the thickness is 0.125. And say done. Next we want to add these features. So the radius of this feature here is 0.13, or the diameter is 0.26, and it is at a distance from the center line 0.1813. So we can create it using extrude again by using the remove material option. Select this top surface, create a circle here. The diameter of the circle is 0.26, and this distance given is 0.813. Next, create these tangent lines on a vertical center line passing through the center of the circle, and by using the use tool we will create these edges. Now delete these segments, this arc of the circle. So now the geometry is complete. Say done. Flip the direction, specify the thickness that is up to this surface, and select remove material option. Say done. Now just like this extrude, we want to create 3 more, and at an angle 90 degree with each other. So select this extrude, go to pattern, select the axis pattern, and specify the axis, that is this axis. We want 4 instances at an angle 90 degree with each other. Say done. So this completes the disc. Let's save this. And close it. Next part is the support pin. The support pin again can be created using extrude. The length of this cylindrical part is 1.63. This is 0.5 length, and this is again 0.5. This diameter is 0.3, and this diameter here is 0.19. Now there is a mistake here because this parts or this particular part is to be fitted in this, so it cannot be greater than this diameter, which is 0.26. So that means we have to take this diameter as either 0.25 or 0.26. So with this correction, let us create this part, that is the support pin. Now in the assembly, it would be vertical. So to create it in top plane. So go to extrude, placement, define, select the top plane and say sketch. Create a circle of diameter 0.25 and say extrude. This length is 1.63, so specify 1.63. We have created or we have selected the top plane and drawn the circle and extruded in this direction. Instead, we can extrude on both sides of the sketch plane and say done. Let us create this part now. The diameter is 0.19 and length is 0.5. Select this top surface and say sketch. Again, create a circle. Diameter is 0.19 and the length is 0.5. Additional data is that it is chamfered at this edge. So the chamfer is 0.03 into 0.03. So select the chamfer tool, select D into D and specify the value of D equals to 0.03 and select this edge. Say done. Now let us group them and mirror this group about this top plane. So say mirror and select the top plane and say done. So exactly similar part would be created on this side of the plane. Let us add some color. So we'll select this part, save it and close this file. The next part is the spacer. Again, it's a hollow cylindrical part. Outer diameter is 1.25 and inner diameter is 1. The length is 1.375. Create a new file, say spacer, select extrude, select the top plane, create a circle, the diameter is 1.25, another circle of diameter 1 and the length is 1.375. Select done. Assign a color. So let us save this file and close the file. Now the next part is this nut. So to create this nut, let us start by creating this file. Again, use extrude tool. Using the palette tool, add a hexagon. Close the palette. Now the distance between these two parallel edges is 0.35. Using normal, specify this distance, but before that we need to delete this additional constraint. So this is 0.35. Say OK. Also it is a threaded nut, but we are not going to create the threads here, but we have to show this a hollow nut. So the inner diameter is 0.26. To represent that, we'll create a circle, diameter 0.26. Now the height is 0.20. We have created it on top plane and extruded in the upward direction. Let us select extrude on both sides. So it would be equally extruded on both sides of the top plane. Say done. The chamfer of this nut is given in the diagram. The chamfer is 0.03 multiplied by 0.03. So to avoid the chamfer, again now we have to select revolve tool, go to placement and select the front plane. So to draw the chamfer, we have to select a plane such that it is passing through one of these corners. In this case, it is passing through, or the corner is passing through this front plane. So select sketch, go to sketch, references, select this edge and select this edge. Say OK. Now from this corner, draw a line or a horizontal line of 0.03 and a vertical line of 0.03. Join these two corners. Now we are in the revolve tool. To complete the revolve, we need a geometric center line. So draw a center line, specifically the geometric center line, and say done. Now we want to remove the material, so select the remove material option and say done. So the chamfer gets created. Just like this, we want chamfer on this side also. So now that can be done using the mirror tool. So select this revolve, click on the mirror tool and select the plane about which we have to create the mirror. So because it's symmetric, we'll select the top plane and the chamfer will get created on this side also of the top plane. Specify color and save the file. Close this window. Then next part is the spacer, the center pin. So to create the center pin, again it can be created using two cylinders, one of diameter 1.5 and the height 0.5 and another of diameter 1 and height 2.5. So create this first. select extrude, placement, and select the top plane. Select sketch. The diameter is 1.5 and the height is 0.5. Again, select extrude, placement, define, and select this bottom surface. Say sketch. Now this diameter is 1 and the height is 2.5. So create a circle of diameter 1. Say extrude, specify the height 2.5 and say done. Then there is a chamfer of D into 45. So select chamfer tool, select 45 into D, and the value is 0.06. Select this edge and say done. It is also having a hole of diameter 0.63 and it's a through hole. So to create this, again go to extrude, placement, and select this either top surface or the bottom surface of the center pin and say sketch. Let us create a circle. This is 0.63. Say done. Flip the direction. Specify the hole is up to this surface. Say remove material and press done. Save the file and close the window. Now the next part is this bolt. The distance is 0.3 and the height is 0.2. So to create this, create a file. So this is the place where the bolt is inserted. We'll create it in the top plane. So using palette, select the hexagon, place it at the center, close this. So this is 0.3. Then the height is 0.2. Say done. And say OK. If we want to create the chamfer, chamfer given is 0.03 into 0.03. So chamfer will be created using the revolve tool. Select a plane passing through corner. So in our case, it's the front plane. Go to sketch and references. Select the top surface and this edge. And now create lines of 0.03 and another line 0.03 with equal length. To use revolve, we need a geometry center line. Let's create this line here and say done. Say remove material and press done. Then the length of this part is 3 and the diameter is 0.26. To create that part, use extrude, select this bottom surface, then create a circle of diameter 0.26 and specify the length equals to 3. Press done. Save the part and close the window. So with this we have created all the 7 parts. Now let us start to create the assembly. So say new, instead of part select assembly design, then select fixture assembly, say OK. We'll add our first part. The first part is usually the base part, so we'll add this base plate. Go to assemble, select the end plate, open it, is not constrained, say default. Now it is fully constrained, say done. Next we want to add this disc. Go to assemble, select the disc, say open, just move it a little bit. Now align this axis of the disc with this axis of the end plate, and similarly select this surface and specify the constraint as mate. Now it is fully constrained, say done. We will disable the planes. Next we will add this support pin. Select support pin, select align, select the axis and select one of these axes. Go to move. Because it's partially constrained, we can still move it. Now add another constraint, which is mate. Select this surface here and select this surface and say done. Now it is fully constrained, so select done. Now select the support pin, go to pattern, select the axis pattern, select the axis and create 4 instances at 90 degrees and say done. Next we want to add this spacer, so select assemble, add the spacer. To add it at its position, go to placement, select align, select this axis and select this axis. It is partially constrained. Go to move this a little bit. Again, go to placement, add new constraint, select mate, select this bottom surface of the spacer and top surface of the plate. So now it is fully constrained and say done. Then next we want to add the spacer again on this top surface. So say assemble. In fact, we want to add the disk. So open the disk, go to placement, align, select this axis and select this axis. Go to move the disk. Again, add another constraint which is mate. So what we have done is we have selected the wrong axis to align. So to correct it, we can delete it. So delete this first constraint and again specify align, select this axis and this axis. Now it is aligned. Add new constraint. So this is mate. Select this bottom surface of the plate and top surface of the spacer. So now it is fully constrained and say done. We want another end plate to be placed over here. So go to assemble, say end plate and open it. Let us move it. Now align the axis. Go to placement, select align, select this axis and select this axis. So now they are aligned. Add new constraint which is mate. Select this top surface and this surface here. So while moving the part, again we have aligned the wrong axis. So we'll delete this constraint. Go to placement, add new constraint, align. Now select this axis and this axis here. Okay, so we'll create it again. So now they are aligned. We'll add another constraint which is mate. Select this bottom surface and this top surface. Okay, so now they are properly constrained. The next part to be added is this center pin. So select center pin, open it, go to placement, select align, select this axis and this axis here. They are partially constrained. Move the center pin, go to placement, add new constraint, select mate, select this bottom surface and this top surface. So now we have added the center pin. The next part to be added is the bolt. Select bolt, go to placement, select align, select this axis and this axis. New constraint, mate, this surface and this surface. So it is fully constrained and say done. Next we want to add the nut. So select this nut, select align, select this axis and this axis here. And similarly this surface and this top surface and say done. Next we will group the bolt and nut together. So this is now one part. Go to pattern, select the direction pattern, select first reference direction in this way. Now the distance between these two holes is 3 and similarly distance between these two holes is 3. So specify the distance 3, flip the direction, click here, select next reference direction, select this distance as 3 and say done. So this is the complete fixture assembly. If you want to see its exploded view, go to view, select explode and see explode view. So this is the exploded view. So thank you very much. That's it for today.